Welcome to Creators on the Crest. Everyone, stop scrolling. Do not get lost in the fog because that fire horse is about to bolt, okay? It's about to bolt, and Mercury has just entered Pisces. So if you're feeling confused and you're feeling a little bit stuck, that is completely natural, okay? And I'm going to be showing you ways to get unstuck today and start moving across that bridge. So stop scrolling, grab your tea, make yourself comfortable, and let's get going on Frequency Friday today. Okay, I got to grab something. So look at the beautiful tarot tower. I'll be right back. Forgot to do my little sound check and make sure that everything's sounding okay to y'all. So let's get that going. If you happen to be here and you've dropped by, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment so I know you're here. Can you hear the sound okay? Ooh, the energy is rising. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you there for letting me know. I've got this little like light glare going on. I have a natural light window open and then my other light and then these lights. And so we're just going to roll with it. We'll see how it looks with the cards today though. Okay. Woo. All right. Let's see here. We have the sound. We have the things. Karen is here. What's up, Karen? Hello. Hello. Well, welcome to Frequency Friday. We are on episode 55. Can you believe it? 55 today. Wow. That's a lot of episodes, right? So I've been doing these for a little over a year. Glowy. Maybe my camera lens needs to be cleaned off. Just a second. I know it looks glowy. It might be the way I have the light, but let's do a little of this. Ooh, you were right. Look at that. You're like, clean your camera lens. I thought it looked kind of cool and mystical. There you go. How's that? I don't see it as much now. Do you? Better? Better? That solved that. It sure did. It was smudged. Woo! It's warm in here. Yeah, you got to say something. I was commenting on it earlier, how I thought it looked kind of cool. I thought it was from having a natural light window open, but no, it's just my camera needed to be cleaned off. How's everybody doing today? Let me know. Let me know how you are doing in the comments. Are you feeling fogged in, stuck, confused? Are you feeling the momentum, the action? How do you feel? How are these energies affecting you? Izzy. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, hello. Welcome to Frequency Friday. All right, we're going to be getting into all the good things having to do with astrology and tarot. So what I offer here today is a unique blend of astrology and tarot together. And it's a great time of learning. If you like learning and you like trying to figure out alchemy and how the planets work and the archetypes of the tarot and their meaning and how you can use them in your life, especially right now because February is a huge month of major astrological transits. Okay, so there is so much going on. Definitely invite you to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I do have, yes, on Super Bowl Sunday, I have a live Q&A. So for those of you who don't care about that other stuff, I will be here from 7 to 8 p.m. Central on the channel to do free mini readings. You can come on, you ask a question, you put your theme in the comments, and I do a free mini reading for you. You can learn my style. You can ask the question you've been dying to ask. I do recommend coming in a little closer to the 7 o'clock p.m. Central time hour if you can, because I do tend to fill up and sometimes I run out of time. I go for an hour. It's kind of like a power hour. So be sure to mark your calendars. I have one this Sunday on the 8th. And then I have one on the 22nd, okay, Sunday the 22nd, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yes, Central. So for you East Coast, that would be 8 p.m. is when it starts. So, and I will, like that day, you'll see a few hours before, you'll probably see what I usually do is like an hour or two before I put up the actual live Q&A. It says, you know, you ask, I answer, whatever. And or you ask, I read, and you'll see that, and then you could just hit the notification reminder and come on in the live chat, and then that's where we interact. So yeah. Hey Funky, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Izzy's got the Virgo rising, Scorpio, Venus, Libra, Sun, Sagittarius, and a Gemini moon. Wow, you've got a whole mix of things here. This is going to be interesting for you, I bet, because I'm going to talk, let me do a few highlights of the astrology, and then I'll talk about like your Gemini moon there, and like what's going on with Mercury, your Virgo and your Gemini probably is going to get a little bit it's going to get interesting for those placements. Let's say it that way. And feel free, like others of you that are here, if you'd like to drop in like one of your signs or one of the signs you're working with in your own chart. I'll see how that connects to the current astrology. You're a mutt. Astrology mutt. That's cute. I love it. I love it. All right. So everyone knows, because I've talked about it before, I think, but if you don't know, that's okay. Neptune has entered into that 14-year cycle in Aries. So some of you felt that shift. It came out of Pisces, where it was nice and comfortable, really likes that watery energy, and into Aries. So some of you may be feeling that boost. We're in the year of the wood snake. We're doing the final shed according to the Chinese zodiac calendar. And on the 17th of February, we'll enter the fire horse year. Okay, so you can feel the quickening, most likely. We've been talking about it a lot here on the channel. We're in Aquarius season, so everything also is very sparky, very like community focused, innovations, ideas coming in. And so then what happened, okay, and some of you in the creator community were connecting with me, messaging on Instagram, and you were sharing how like you felt increased anxiety or emotional anxiety lately. And that is because just these past few days, we had Uranus stationing direct. It is now direct, okay? And Uranus is the ruling planet for Aquarius. So technical malfunctions, glitches in systems, those kinds of things. Uranus brings in kind of that sparky energy. So some of you may feel like I'm doing the final shed, but I'm moving forward with this fire energy. Like Izzy got a new job, it looks like. Congratulations. And then but like it's not all there yet, right? So you're kind of feeling this like sparky energy, and it might be causing a little bit of anxiety. If it is, that's okay. That's okay. Just, do what you can to keep yourself grounded, because grounding is going to be super important. And then today, so we've got that Uranus energy kind of affecting us now. But it can also result in, if you felt like stalled out in certain areas, it can also get you going again. It can be like a jump start. So for some of you may have a jump start in an area of your life, okay? Today we've got Mercury entering Pisces. Now this is a big deal, and maybe a little bit bigger deal than usual, because Mercury will be in Pisces a little bit longer than we would normally expect Mercury to travel through a sign because of the retrograde. So it'll be there until the 15th of April. Whoo! Now, will not be retrograde that whole time. The retrograde is from around about the 25th, 26th of February until the 20th to 22nd. You know how it has that shadow, the pre and post shadow too, of March. So the retrograde is like sandwiched in there, which is really, really interesting. Okay, so we've got Mercury in Pisces. Now, Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo, Gemini. This is what I was speaking to in your energies, Izzy, because you shared that. Um, it doesn't like being in Pisces. It's kind of it's its fall. It's not its like exaltation. It's its fall. So what we're having is the intellect and the thoughts and the beliefs and all that become more intuitive, maybe become more sensitive and more psychic feeling, that kind of thing for us during this time. But then since Mercury isn't super comfortable in Pisces, it can lead to a lot of miscommunication, misalignment, misunderstanding. So one of the things, and this is why I put in the title, you want to be ready for what we're moving into here and how we're going across this bridge, because we've got these Mercury energies. You want to make sure you're double checking details, okay? Asking for clarification. Is he an example in your new job? Somebody like maybe tries to train you on something or communicate something to you, and you're just like, that's not making sense. That's not super clear. Definitely take the time to ask. Okay. Take the time to ask. This can happen in relationships, partnerships, all of the above, misunderstandings, miscommunication. Double check the details and ask for clarifications. Okay. Even if you feel this sparky kind of rushed energy, which can happen sometimes when we are dealing with this Mercury moves very fast, but yet it's in a sign it's not super comfortable in. So we can actually take the opportunity to align with our intuition and slow it down a bit. So if you've just joined, let me know. Say hi in the comments. I want to see everyone here and say hello to you. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. If you're a new subscriber, welcome, welcome. There's lots going on. I'm here live every Friday for collective and community readings, conversation, support in the live chat. And then every other Sunday night, I do free live mini readings for an hour here on the channel. You don't want to miss that. The next one's this Sunday coming up. And sometimes I pop up and do them randomly too, every once in a while when I'm feeling a wild hair. So keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you set that notification bell to all so you don't miss anything. And then every Tuesday, I release a long form video. It's Astrotarology, which is my unique blend of the astrology, transits, and the tarot archetypes. And we're using the best of both of these arts and sciences to support you, to support the community, to help you navigate through these ever-changing times. So if that's your thing, if that's your jam, you're definitely going to like it here. I do also want to mention for the ladies out there, ladies, or to the gentlemen who have a lady in their life, I am doing a women's circle, a digital temple. This will be through Zoom. I'm going to do it on the new moon and solar eclipse. This is happening in Aquarius on the 17th. That's a Tuesday. And I'm going to be doing it in the evening. We're going to start at 7:11 p.m. So in the description for this live, you will find the link to register. It's going to have you put in your name and your email. And the nice thing about it is it's donation based on a sliding scale. So you pay what you can, okay, and what is comfortable and safe for you to join the circle, ladies. So I really wanted to come together in community. It's Aquarius season. I know a lot of you have been looking and seeking your soul tribe. You've been looking for fresh, new relationships and experiences. And so we are going to come together in the digital space. Yes, alas, we will not all be in person, but in the digital space, we also need to have good connections. And who knows, maybe one day the digital space turns into a retreat or something like that, right? So these are kind of the beginnings, and I would really love to have you. It's going to be like, there will be learning and I will be teaching a little bit in there, but I'm also going to do some like guided support, meditations perhaps. I'm not quite sure yet. It's still coming together. But then at the end, everyone who joins that will have a chance to ask their own personal question. I will also be doing mini readings, but it's in a sacred, safe, contained circle of women. Okay, so that's going to be a really good opportunity. So if you can get in on that, it's, welcoming in the fire horse year. We're going to be doing our final shed in preparation for this first burn. Okay. And so a lot of you have been feeling this. It's a great time for us to get together on that. It's also, that Chinese New Year. A lot of powerful astrology going on in the month of February. So we're going to welcome all that in. Okay. Let's go ahead and get in. I've done enough announcing. Let's go ahead and get into the oracle readings today. Now, the animals were coming up a lot. Animal totems, animal helpers, obviously the wood snake, the fire horse when we look at the Chinese astrology. So I'm going to be going over a few cards. The first one is from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle. And in this book, and in this deck, they have snake, they have horse, and I also wanted to get into a specific kind of snake energy as well, because I think it'll help us bridge the gap from the wood snake to the fire horse, two very different elements that obviously go together for us as humans, right? Having wood to build the fire, right? So these final sheddings that we're doing, and let me show you this snake card because it's really cool. All right. It's really cool. We've got like the flower of life and the Ouroboros snake devouring its own tail, right? And what this is really representing for us is this past year when we have been shedding certain energies, spaces. Some of us have had big moves. Some of us have let go resistance or we're in the process of that. This is opening up our highest potential. All that has to do with the wood snake year is to molt, right? Molt the old skin and come into the new for yourself. Izzy says, single and happy. Yes, absolutely. Shedding the expectations, the beliefs, the societal pressures and norms that no longer work. We're doing this on an individual level. We're doing this on a collective level, and we're really looking to embrace something new. Now, this is going to be welcoming in more aligned energies for us, more prosperous energies. So if you've kind of been wondering, when are the resources going to come through for me, I would definitely recommend sticking to your creative ventures, sticking to who you are as a charismatic individual. Like, what is your character? What is your charisma? The snake and the shedding of the old skins helps us figure that out. That is really what's going on here. And so this past year, we've worked to shed those things that no longer fit us. It's like something that was just too tight, something we outgrew, relationships, right? We've had some breakups in the creator community this year. We've had some breakthroughs in the creator community this year with individuals really sharing their stories. So really understanding that this past year wasn't meant to punish us. It wasn't meant to just be something that would cause us to suffer. We're actually going through the process of getting rid of the old, and so that something new can be really launched, really let loose in this fire horse season. And look at this beautiful card. I love this image of the horse. There's such wisdom in this card, and I absolutely love how in this deck she uses the black and white with the little color pops. It's so beautiful. The horse is all about freedom, momentum, And it's expansive energy. It's expansive energy. I'll just mention also we've got Jupiter in Cancer, and then it will shift to Jupiter, will be in Leo later this year. So look in your chart for your Jupiter energy, that kind of energy. Some of you may have a powerful connection there. And you may be able to see, especially if you're looking at your transit charts, which is, if you're confused about how to do that, let me know. Be happy to help. And it's going to be a part of the programs that I do upcoming, so people can actually take a peek into, why am I feeling this way? What are the energies going on with me? The horse brings in a force to be reckoned with. And I love how we have the moon kind of in these fiery colors for this card. I really love this card. It's the horse represents like a masterful earth energy. So if you think about the wood snake and trees growing from the earth and all of that, right? Like, and being able to molt and shed and drop the dead leaves and all of that kind of stuff in preparation for this wise earth mastered horse to rise up like almost like a phoenix from the ashes and burst into flames. It's really, really a powerful energy that we don't want to miss out on. And that's why it's so important right now for you to own and really feel good, actually, about the things that are changing in your life. Even if at first it feels a little shocking, it feels a little different, it feels a little like, what is going on here? How do I stay with this energy? What am I going to, how can I keep doing this, right? Well, you keep going, because no matter how difficult the terrain is, you're going to find a way through, because your freedom to have your own creative license to be the charismatic individual that you're meant to be is opening up. And so this is a choice. There are going to be people, you all know, you probably see them out and about in society. Some of you have people like this in your family who are going to resist this, and it's going to become tough for them. And you're going to see the suffering, and they're going to try to, amplify that suffering in society as well. And you have to be the determined horse here. Okay. You cannot let them extinguish your fire. Okay. We've got another Karen. Welcome, Karen 5757. General reading to you. We're doing a collective oracle reading right now. I will be back here for free personal mini readings on Sunday evening, the 8th and the 22nd, here on my channel, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But Karen, if you know your sun sign, your moon sign, drop it in the chat. I like to try to blend that in and call you guys out as I'm looking through these energies here. So we've kind of looked at the snake energies. We've looked at the horse energies here. Physical stamina, everybody. So those exercise routines that you've been putting off, or just getting more stretching in, really getting in, like what I'm seeing is like the depths, the fascia, the connective tissue of your body deep into the muscles, and having like a profound connection with that. Think about a horse in full sprint, and like those muscles are just firing. Okay, this is a great opportunity. Some of you know, if you've been following my work, that I've been getting back into cardio exercise. I didn't think I could, because I'm at a certain age, but I got back into it, and it's been working out really well for me, and I'm feeling my stamina. Horse is about stamina, right? We want to be able to take the long journey. We want to be able to go for the long haul with the horse energy here, right? Physical stamina is a big part of this. So really working, like it's not just like why we need to prepare, it's how we prepare for this. You can build stamina through meditation and focus exercises, through breath work, right? I'm also seeing, and I've been kind of told by my own guides and team lately that I need to get back into breath work, because as I'm doing this cardio exercise, I'm finding myself, when we go deep into the exercises that are building the muscle, I start yawning. And when you yawn, you need more oxygen, right? So some of you may be feeling like, oh, I need a little bit more oxygen. I need to practice taking those deeper breaths. Yeah, Karen, Karen Savoy, if you tell us your birthday, you don't have to tell us the year, but the month and the date, we can tell you what your sign is. And Izzy is offering that help there. Thank you so much that's what the creators community is about. So I've got another snake energy here that I just wanted to share as part of the oracle reading. Sometimes I pull cards with y'all live, which I'm going to do in the tarot readings here. But sometimes I just get called to share certain oracle cards, and Cobra came up. And I think it's because Cobra as a snake is actually a fire energy. So if we imagine just our other wood snake here, right? Our wood snake shedding the skin. The Cobra energy is something that helps us rise up, but it's very measured. You know, it doesn't strike right away unless absolutely threatened. And this is about our own inner teacher within us, okay? The Cobra energy. So what are you rising up into? How are you rising up? How are you taking up space? How are you being seen? How are you expanding into your art? These are the kind of questions that it's important to ask ourselves during this time with this Cobra energy. This is the depth. Again, I think that's why I got so much benefit out of looking into the depth of the physical stamina, because this is the depth in the soul. This is your inner teacher. This is introspection. What would it feel like to really open yourself up to learning something again, to really maybe even pushing your edges? I know not Karen Savoy, but our other Karen Keener, she's been really exploring pushing her comfort zones with drawing. And she's all kinds of creative, all kinds of artistic, but improving upon that, really challenging her mastery in that area to see how she can grow. And she's been sharing that, you know, with everyone. And I think it's beautiful. So if you have something that you're learning, be willing to share it. Be willing to be seen and take up space with what you are learning, what you are doing, even if like your mind is like, it's messy, it's not good enough, I can't show this yet, it's not perfect. We're letting that go. Remember, we're shedding the skins, those skins of like perfection and, you know, waiting and hesitating and stagnation, because we want to be ready to jump on that fire horse. March 31st is your birthday. Okay. Wonderful. So that's our March 31st. Now I'm blanking out onto what March 31st is. Because it's not Aries. Is it Aries? And then is that Taurus? That's not Taurus. Who am I missing here? Somebody save me. But this is like the Mercury energy already coming in, where like you just kind of blank out. Let me see here. So we need March 31st. We're gonna get you set up, Karen. March 31st. I can't type either. March 31. What sign? Aries. It is Aries. Okay, I was right there. I was just trying to think when the crossover happened. Like, I'm thinking of different people's birthdays. But so, like, is that right? God, see, this is another thing with this Mercury entering Pisces, is like your timelines get all wacky and wonky. It's like, wait a minute, what falls into that area? Yep, but yeah, March 31st, Aries, and you're kind of like 10 days into Aries, so you're pretty solid, Aries. That's good. I think the fire horse energy probably is going to feel really good to you, because you're already kind of like a go-getter energy, Karen. And you're twins, and you have a twin sister. Wow. Okay. So twin Aries. Wow. So what I would recommend here with your energy, since Mercury is in Pisces, kind of it'll be in Pisces like during your birthday. The retrograde will be over by your birthday, the Mercury retrograde, but we might be in the post shadow a little bit. when you're moving forward, just make sure you're confident about your direction. Because Aries energy, sometimes it can skip over things or skip over people or leave something out. So just make sure you're confident, since we're coming out of that retrograde, and Mercury being in Pisces, which is the watery energy that precedes your fiery energy. Things could feel like a little muddled. So just make sure that you feel like you're checking with that inner teacher that I just talked about with the Cobra, that inner fire there, and really making sure you're connected to your own inner light to make decisions, especially with decision making. Seems like that would be important for you, okay? If you have any big decisions coming up around that time. The horse is also, which I'd like to show you, it's about trusting yourself. So in this other deck, the Wild Mystic, all right, I love this one too, black, white, and this yellow gold color. It's about trusting yourself. So that confidence that I was talking about coming through, and how do we find trust in ourselves? How do we, then once we trust ourselves, how do we maintain loyalty to what we know and believe and is right for us? And I think some of you that may have been giving your authority away, or you've had kind of these vampiristic people in your life trying to get in on your energy, you're going to be claiming it back. You're going to have to. It's kind of this matter of like, you may feel in some areas, some of you, I'm not saying this will be all of you, but some of you may feel like, I have to choose between me. It's either me or them, and I can't allow myself to be diminished. And so the horse energy brings you that strength. It brings you that stamina and that endurance to push through those relationships. And maybe there are some more endings coming up for some of you having to do with that, especially if you feel just wiped out by certain people or energies. Now, what's nice about this is, because of the wisdom that's being embodied by the horse here, some of you who are exploring the new communities, new people, maybe you're out dating, you're going to hone in on those types of characters a lot more quickly. And you're going to be like, no, right? So if you've been doing the work, you've really been working on relationships, you're very attentive and aware, and you're checking your inner guidance system on this, and you have that deep trust alignment, you're going to be able to vet those things out a lot quicker. And I think that's going to feel good to so many of you, because you're just no longer going to tolerate that someone would bring your energy down, right? And it's just becoming clear to you it's not a match anymore. All right, so that's coming up. It's trusting yourself. It's being loyal to yourself. It's not about being selfish, okay? That doesn't mean you're not a compassionate person. That doesn't mean you don't care, but you have these boundaries. So all of those characteristics of people pleasing and giving your power away is going to go by the wayside. I don't see people being able to maintain that. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I'm kind of in between these energies, some of you just may be shedding more of this wood snake energy here. You may be doing your final shed so you can be reborn into these fresh energies. And in particular, as it connects with other people. All right. And I love this depiction of the snake, because we really see it rising and it's coiling from the moon to this kind of like what I consider to be a sun mandala of some kind here, and really reaching for that new. It's like a clean entry into this fire horse season that I'm feeling. So we're going to try to maximize these energies. There are parts of us that are going to have to fall away, that are going to have to die. They're just no longer going to be able to exist with the new versions of ourselves. We've outgrown some things here. And so we're kind of coming out of the shadows here and reaching for that sun in our new skin, in our brand new skin that feels alive and fresh and ready to roll. So you can see now, I think, a little bit how the snake and the horse energies, and on the cusp of these energies, were working together. So let me just give a few more messages here from the animals, we've got a classic deck, Messages from Your Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen Farmer here. And I've got kind of a unique take on the horses in this one, so it's really exciting. But let's start with the snake. In this deck, he speaks of the rattlesnake and the words that go along with the card. The experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation. Remember, we just talked about rebirth into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. I'm also going to add as an artist, as a leader, okay, in your workplace, in your family, in your life, as a parent. All right. So the rattlesnake comes in and says, you might be going through some stuff and it might be kind of tricky and you might feel like apprehensive or a little scared to take that step, because what if you get bitten? What if you get stung? But realizing that even the trickier energies you've been going through are an initiation here. And I'm really, what's striking me is the colors here, the purpley and the orange, which, if I'm correct about the color wheel, for you artists out there, you can let me know, aren't these opposites on the color wheel? And you could put them together for like a certain pop, right? I'm really seeing that here. And maybe that some of you are feeling and seeing that as well in your energies. You're really seeing the difference between the old you and the new you, the uninitiated you and the initiated you here with the rattlesnake. So rattlesnake came up. And then strangely, like in this deck, he just didn't have a horse, but he had creatures that I feel are connected to horses. And the first one is my daughter's favorite, the zebra. Let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. The zebra energy here. And here's more orangey energy. The orange really kind of takes us into that gut, takes us into those energies. If you do work with the chakras, it would be the sacral energies, the money, the finances, the resources, sex and sensuality, right? Power, how you have and find personal power. And the zebra lets us know, because the zebra gets hunted, right? The zebra is prey. But look how much it does look like a horse. It's like such a cool visual depiction of like the horse energy, different, but also, that equine kind of feel. And not everything, I think the zebra reminds us, not everything is black and white. But when we do identify our fears, it's our job to transcend those fears so that we can really move forward. And really trusting in ourselves and being loyal to ourselves and our own boundaries is going to help us with letting go that fear. So zebra comes in. If you like zebra as a totem, just giving some different options here. You may feel like one of these animal messages sticks out to you and speaks to you more than another, right? So you really want to roll with whatever stands out to you. And you can utilize that to help you through this transition that we're going through astrologically and as just being human, being a spiritual being in a human body at this time. And then taking another, just a little bit of a change on the horse here, we get the unicorn. Okay, so this is that magical, mythical, mystical kind of feeling. Indulge your creativity, indulge your creative, imaginative, and magical side through some form of artistic expression. Let me know in the comments, have you created any art lately? How do you artistically express yourself? For me lately, I've been doing Zumba, and it's dance moves. It's like Latin dancing, and it's so much fun. And I just smile and get my hips going and get moving. And I really feel like I can express myself that way. It also lets me shake off, some of the stress. But what do you do? Do you channel this energy through a paintbrush, or are you a writer? Do you journal? Let me know. Let me know in the comments how your magical, mystical energy comes through. And it doesn't have to be all airy-fairy and hippy-dippy. It can actually be something that really transforms you, or that It could even be a physical product. Are some of you selling physical artistic products? Let me know. Let us know in the comments what your sharing is. You know, because this season, as we're crossing this bridge, and why it's so important for us to start making moves, even if those moves are to tell people what we're doing and share it in community, these are the important things that we got to do, the important factors of like sharing, getting out there, and having that courage and that bravery, because we're going to jump on that fire horse and the energies are going to take off, everyone. Okay. So get the saddle ready, get the reins ready. You know, there's going to be a lot of movement and it's going to affect us collectively and personally. And you want to make sure you're in control of that fire horse, which is your inner being, right? Your light. We are crossing the bridge now here. So I have this really cool deck. It's Denise Lynn's, love her, from, I used to listen to her on Hay House. I haven't listened for a long time, but really loved her vibe. She loves animals too, and just is just a really beautiful and soft soul. She created the Sacred Traveler Oracle cards. It's one of my favorite decks, very purpley. We got purple, orange, and green coming up for these readings. For those of you like working with colors, crossing bridges. It's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. That's that wood snake energy. We're shedding it so we can move across. And I'm absolutely loving kind of the Asian vibe of this card and like the little Chinese lantern. And this character is kind of reminding me of the Hermit from the Tarot, which is really cool, like using their own inner guidance to carry them across this bridge. All right. Whew, I need some water. This fire's getting big here. All right, y'all. Let me know in the comments. Are you still here? What's standing out to you? If anything, do you have any questions? You know, maybe not personal, like, you know, I'm not going to do a mini reading, but questions about the energies in general, because we're going to get into the breakout tarot readings here in a moment. So we're going to focus on some very specific cards. All right. And I'm going to get those ready. I have to turn to my tarot tower. This is my tarot tower, all tarot cards and books and stuff that go along with tarot. I'm going to get our big cards here from my moon bag here. But let me know in the comments while I'm grabbing these cards that we're going to go through today. All right. Let's grab it. So we have an Aries. Who else would like to talk about their energies or what they're feeling with these energies coming up? Because I want to know before we get into this tarot reading. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You also have on to the right of your comments, you should have a little smiley face. And above that, like a little heart. You can put little heart emojis and just hit those when you feel or hear something that's resonating for you. But we're going to get into, I think I've talked a bit about why it's important to really be beginning to cross this bridge. Even if some of you are still shedding some old stuff, I know I am. I am still letting go of some things here, you know, as I step on the bridge. But with every step, more and more falls away, more and more like sloughs off you, energetically speaking. Karen Keener says, I was in the shower following along quietly since I had the speaker on outside. Okay, I got you. I got you. Thanks for letting me know. Yes, please take your shower if you need to. Water is, you know, a conductor of energy. So it could be really powerful to work with water as well. Bringing in the water element, which we're going to do in these breakout tarot readings, interestingly enough here. So, and I also need to grab something out of my closet here. It's been one of those days. We've had a busy week on the home front. So let me grab this thing out of my closet because it's going to serve as like a little visual for everybody. I have to like move my light. My closet's like right behind me. Okay. maybe some of you have something like this. But you can use any kind of like cup or glass or chalice that you want to use. But this is our cup energy. This is like a chalice that I have, and I have like a little base that goes with it. I've shown it on here before. I think I got it. I think it's like something I might have got at like a Renaissance festival or something. You know how they have the big pottery shops. And I originally bought it for, there's the artist there, bought it for my father, and my father is now passed, and I just thought it was so beautiful. So this is going to be kind of my helper energy as I go along this bridge. Okay, I am a Cancer sun sign, so I work really well with the water energies. It's helpful. And since some of you have been sharing with me in the creator community that you've been feeling the anxiety, you've been feeling the emotions, the cups energy is all about that. So as we're doing the readings today, when things are coming up, you can put them in the cup, all right? And they're going to get cleansed and cleared. And you can use this yourself too. If you have one for yourself at home, maybe there's things you're shedding that you'd like to write down and place in your cup or in your chalice, all right? And then on the 17th, for you ladies who want to join my digital temple, there's a link in the description. Wink, wink. I hope to have you there. It's a women's circle and digital temple, welcoming in that. But maybe on the 17th, you take them out, you burn them, and you release the energies to the universe. And that is part of your own personal initiation. Just giving you guys some ideas here. You could put salt. You could put like, I like to use the Celtic sea salt or an Epsom salt of some kind. You could put salt in there with, you know, and then as things come up and you're shedding layers and there's people exiting your life and you just need to decompress the stress, put it all in there. The salt absorbs it. And then, you know, when you're done or when the 17th comes along, flush it down the toilet, get rid of it, let it be recombined and let the salt take it away. The salt is extremely clearing. If you can get to, if you're somewhere close to like a salt cave too, that is one place I want to go, in those salt caves, because I've heard that they're really helpful for like cleansing your energy, but I've never been in one, but they look super cool. So you can use salt, all right? Some of you may want to do something like in preparation, you can put crystals in here in preparation for fire horse. You know, you can get kind of your fire horse toolkit ready and use the cup for that. This is like going to be like, kind of like, it's kind of like your crucible. It's kind of like where all the magic happens. So you can use it for release and, you know, just cleanse it and clear it when you're done. You can use it for release. You can use it for putting in the ideas that you want to burst forth in this fire horse year. All right. So you may have your own chalice at home or your own crucible of some kind, but this is how we master and work with the elements. So whatever's coming to your mind, right? I've given a few suggestions, but at the end of the day, you got to trust what comes up inside of you, how to use that, right? Oh, Karen's had restless leg arise out of nowhere the last few nights, and you're a Scorpio. You could really be feeling those Uranus energies since you said the last few nights, because that is a very sparky, it's that kind of zzz, zzz, like you can't get any rest, and it kind of just happens spontaneous, kind of. It's kind of like the lightning strikes, the buzzy energy, and you know, being in Aquarius season, that maybe I would look, Karen, into your where your Uranus is, your natal Uranus in your chart, and maybe see if any of these transiting energies are affecting that or are close by that, perhaps might be factoring into that. Interesting that you're having a physical reaction. Could have something to do with Mars energy there, or some sort of transit transiting Mars with your natal Uranus. You could check that out. Or vice versa. It could be transiting your Uranus is hitting something in your chart as well. Yeah. Okay. Whew, my nose. Yes, we have a Scorpio Karen and an Aries Karen today. I love it. We need all the Karens. We need 12 different Karens with signs in different, different signs. That would be so fun. We'll have all the zodiac represented. Okay, let me explain the breakout tarot readings today. We're really looking at, okay, the wood snake, like our current selves, and we're doing our final shed, and we're letting go some energy. We're crossing the bridge, right? We're crossing the bridge into the fire horse year. And that would be our future selves. Our future selves in this new energy are getting closer and closer, and we're beginning to move toward one another, right? Remember, we're multidimensional creator beings. That's why this channel is called Creators on the Crest, because we are creator beings. We're in our creative power, and we're bringing, our current selves are walking to meet our future selves. They're meeting up, right? And the path is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. These energies are coming together here at the new moon and solar eclipse on the 17th, which is why I'm doing the Women's Circle, because it's a very powerful time for us. So we're going to be taking a look and doing 3 different readings, 3 different breakout readings. One, we're going to use the 7 of Cups as our guidance. All right, and I'll tell you all about it. The second one, we're going to progress into the 8 of Cups as our guidance. And then, of course, moving into the 9 of Cups. So we have our current self energy in the 7 of Cups. And we're going to look into what that might look like. The bridge energy of the 8 of Cups, see how they're beginning to walk away? All right. Or move on to something else. And then we have our future self energy in the 9 of Cups, satisfaction, being proud about this transition we've made, where we've come in our lives. Karen says, since I moved to Michigan, 1 out of every 5 women I meet, maybe even greater odds, are named Karen. Isn't that interesting, right? And we've got Karens, they really co-opted your name, and it kind of sucks because they've made it like, oh, you're a Karen, right? And there's so many amazing Karens out there, I have a cousin named Karen. One of my, on the other side of the family, one of my children's aunts is named Karen. So I love Karens. We need 1 of every sign. Yeah. So bring them on board. Bring them on board. See if they're into this kind of thing. So we're going to go through these 3 readings, current self, the bridge, and the future self. Now, if you saw my last episode of Astrotarology, episode 4 that came out on Tuesday, we also did a reading there. Now, I didn't use the 7, 8, 9 of Cups in that, so it was a little bit different setup. We really looked at the connective energies, and relationships came up really strong. So if you are, relationship energy, you're really feeling it during this time as you're becoming a new person. You're having, like this new identity come forward. It is just really cool to look at that reading. There were clarifiers in there. I really liked what it was pointing us toward and what we were learning, and we could see how we we're coming in and out of the different energies through our relationships changing. So they're like a signpost for us. So yeah, I think there's some good things coming here. But let's see if we look at it from our chalice, our cups energy here. And, I'm just going to encourage each of you, in honor of welcoming in the fire horse, that you do take some sort of action, whether it's, the salt, the affirmations, the whatever you want to do with your chalice energy, right? Because in all of this energy. We have that Uranus energy, very sparky. We're in Aquarius season still. And now Mercury's moving into Pisces and it's kind of murky. And there's just all this, it's like murky waters and electricity all combined. And it's a little hard to navigate. So our goal today is really to get some tips and tricks from the tarot archetypes that show us how to navigate these different energies. So that's where we're going with. We're going to start with our Seven of Cups reading. Now, as we start with the Seven of Cups here, you can see we have an individual kind of like outlined in a shadow in this is the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I'm using here. And these are my mega big cards because I love looking at the big images so I can see everything. And we see that this individual may feel a little bit in the shadows trying to make a choice, decisions. And I do think, and I've been saying this for a minute, that every decision we make moving forward is super important, maybe more important than ever before, okay? Before in our journey in the evolutionary history of humanity, these decisions are so important. Now with Mercury entering Pisces, this can kind of like put a filter over all this. Like you may be reaching toward one, but all of a sudden a distraction comes up. So definitely coming up with some ways to minimize distraction is going to help with this. See how it's all coming out of this cloudy energy. We've got to make sure that we're making the best decision, but we're also going to be kind of moved to make decisions really quickly. Ooh, and some of us, don't like that kind of pressure. And so it's like, how do we create space in this? Because we're multidimensional beings. Like, let's say you get a job offer and somebody's trying to pressure you to make a decision really quick. And you're like, I just need 24 hours. You have to be able to ask for it so you can clear this energy and reach for what is right or come up with your negotiation point. That's just one example of how it might be for you. So let's get into the tarot reading. Keeping in mind, maybe identifying for yourself personally where you might be entertaining distraction or like fantasy type stuff, right? As much as I love like the Star Trek and the space drama stuff, right? I can get like lost in that. And yes, there's things they show you in those shows and everything. And you can utilize that to kind of understand what's going on, of course, or where things are headed. And at the same time, you have to come up out of that and get into the greater being mode and really begin to apply the best actions and best decisions to your own life. So is there something that we're entertaining or even someone in our life we're entertaining that might be blocking our path, or where do you feel blocked? Let me know in the comments. Karen says, all of the Karens I've met are great. Maybe the meme Karen was created out of jealousy. Could very well be. Could very well be. We're going to head to the Light Seers Tarot to do our little reading today. Yeah, jealousy energies. What a distraction those are. Comparison energies. Whew. I tell you, that'll block your path right there. And then you end up, you're like, oh, I'm having imposter syndrome. And what do I do? It's natural for all of us to stumble into these distractions. It doesn't mean you're not evolving. It doesn't mean, in fact, the fact that you may notice where you're distracted. Some of you may be scrolling, it could be like on the doom scroll, or you're just finding you're having trouble sitting with something and focusing on it, and what's distracting you. So let's look into that a little bit and what we're meant to learn here. Oh, I can see some important help coming up for us in these energies. Yeah. Okay. Definitely emotional energies are coming up. I'm going to spray a little bit of my Breathe. I have this Breathe spray. I was talking about getting more oxygen. This has, I'm not sure exactly what's even in this blend. It's like essential oil, distilled water blend. But it's very piney. I get like a pine smell. Oh, maybe with like a copaiba. Did I say that right? Karen knows. Karen knows the oils really well. It's a beautiful blend, very refreshing. makes me want to inhale, take a nice deep inhale here. And I will say I'm seeing that the desire of the current self is to bring everything forward on this, walking over this bridge into the next part of ourselves, bringing everything from the heart space. All right, very powerfully. So here we have a cup, here we have our crucible, here we have the top of a chalice here, holding it between her hands and committing to that energy. And nothing has more power to transmute energies and distractions and the sparky energy of Uranus and all the things we encounter than the heart. The heart is the great transmuter. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Our current selves are craving our connection to our heart core essence here. Okay. And I love how this looks like a heart. And I love how this looks like an apple because it kind of brings us into that sweetness of our gifts and what we have to offer as well. Isn't that really cool? Ashley's here. Hey, Ashley, welcome, welcome. We're on our first Breakout Tarot reading. Our theme, overall theme we're using is the Seven of Cups, which talks about us making decisions and really realizing where we might be blocked or distracted on our path as we cross the bridge into this fire horse season. And we got the Ace of Cups. So we're really focused right now on this heart energy coming forward very powerfully here, very powerfully. All right. And so our current selves, when we think about where we're at now, one of the questions we might want to ask is this aligned, whatever I'm doing? So figuring out maybe even where you're getting distracted. Is this aligned with where I'm going? Is this aligned with my heart core essence? Is this aligned? And if not, can I make a different choice? Can I choose to let something go? See how the energy is being moved and transmuted? Can I let something go? Maybe I'll place what I'm letting go in my salt that's in my chalice that we talked about, right? And using that as a little ritual for myself. Can I let it go so that I can step more fully into this energy of the heart, the ace, this brand new beginning that I'm committed to? Some of you may be making a stronger commitment to your creativity, to what your passion is, to what your heart calls you to do. All right. This is less about the mental energies and getting lost in the overthinking mind. Okay. Because we're going to be up against some of the energies where it's easy to get confused, but the heart is the place where you can find that clarity. So if you're taking any time at all to connect in with your heart space, and however that is for you, I know the thymus tapping here is good for immunity. I love it just to like remind myself, just a little tapping here on the breastbone here, just to kind of bring me into the heart space, into my heart core essence, into what my heart is calling me to. Some of us definitely are going to be evoking boundaries here with the Seven of Wands, okay? Because we're realizing that what's in our heart is sacred, it's worth protecting. And we are creating, I love how this is kind of like in a crystal ball, but it's like a bubble. We're creating our bubble of protection, our circle of the magician around us here, because we know that when things pick up here, we're moving toward that fire horse. When things pick up with this fiery wand energy here, there's going to be a lot coming at us. So we want to have the proper protections. We want to have the proper boundaries, right? We don't want things to come into our energy field that's just going to cause another layer that we have to shed because we're trying to leave behind the lessons and the learnings of the old versions of us, our old identities, right? We're coming into something new, precious, and sacred that is aligned in the heart space. So every decision that we make needs to be the one that brings us deeper into those heart energies. Karen says, I really felt that Tuesday card with the bridge energy standing at the fence was guarding her boundaries. Yes, so that was in the connecting energies. It was the 9 of Wands from this deck, and it'll be really interesting to see if that comes up. The 7 of Wands is also a boundary card. The 9 of Wands comes in with a little bit, what I would say, greater caution, and maybe a bit about because of like previous wounding. That's where I was talking about some of you on this next phase of your journey. Rather than letting these energies in, you're going to get really good at discerning them on the upfront so that these people, these energies do not come into your field. Like it's like your standards are raised, which I think is beautiful. We're raising our standards on what we allow in our energy, in our life. This can include what you see on TV, remember, because I've been talking about what they propagate in the effects field, right? The effects field, I talk about it all the time. It's the energies of the current situation that are actually caused by something previous, right? So our goal as creators is to have a beneficial, benevolent impact on the effects field, to create the future. Remember, we're drawing our future selves and our current selves together on this bridge. We're coming more and more into that knowing, and it's our job to then have the ripple effect individually, then in our small groups like creators on the Crest community here, then in our local communities with our families, in the collective, and so that we can shift the effects field when we start seeing the effects field going through changes, which we are, and they look really messy, but remember there's a lot of inverted spinning that's put on the stories out there. So it's very weighted toward the negative. It's very much a war on joy and happiness and, good vibes and good news, right? There's a lot of emotional manipulation we have to watch out for as well. Let's not even get started on advertisements. Oh my goodness. Advertisements are absolutely atrocious, and I will go down saying that till the end. Terrible. I say this as the Super Bowl comes up and, everybody's looking at those commercials and those advertisements. Loaded. Energetically, I recoil automatically from advertisements because I can feel the manipulation. Now it's all pharmaceuticals, sports betting. Oh my God, just constant, like just trying to slam people with this energy. And this is what you have to protect yourself from. Everyone, you have to protect yourself. You have to say, no, I'm not participating in those energies, right? I'm going to uphold my sacred bubble. Karen, thank you. Yes. Oh, Karen Savoy, we're so glad to have you on board. And if you have to go, I completely understand. It's Friday. It's a busy day. Hope you can stick around. But if not, the replay, after about 24 hours, it processes, and then I put timestamps on. So you can come back in and go to the parts you missed. So hopefully you can come back around, or maybe we'll see you on Sunday evening if you are available. That would be amazing. So nice to have you here. I wanted to read something to you all, but I don't know where my little paper went. Here it is. And this is something that I did here on Star Trek, on a Star Trek episode. And it was a monk who was protecting these time crystals. And he said, when the future becomes the past, the present will be unlocked. And I was like, ooh, that gave me I was like, wait a minute, pause. Like, let me write that down, right? The present, right? Which is the place where we have our power to create, right? It's a veil though, too. And the way that they try to get the present is to get everybody focused on the effects field, which is actually coming from causes in the past. So it's like another future, right? Do you see how this works? And this is why when we work with temporal mechanics and everything, it's sometimes helpful to just say everything's happening at once, right? It's almost easier to just put it all together. The past, present, and future all come together. It's just underscores. Like, let me pull back up this card from the Oracle, the trust and the loyalty to ourselves that came up with this horse card energy. That's this. That's like this, you know, Seven of Wands energy. And what's cool is the next card we got, as we progress and we're learning and we're making these decisions for ourselves, because every decision is going to either distract and impede us from walking across this bridge that is here before us. That's like, it's either going to distract and impede us, or it's going to help us take the next step forward, which is what we want. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. We got the Page of Wands here. So our hard work with boundaries and with protecting ourselves and, you know, really committing ourselves to being in sacred spaces and creating sacred spaces is really going to allow that. Yes, it's coming up and it's ready. I just feel like some of you are so ready for this new phase. Like, there's this new you that just wants to burst out. I mean, look at me. I'm like turning red. Like, there's so much fire energy coming up right now. I am perimenopausal, so yeah, that's part of it. My temperature does change, but ooh, when I pulled this card, I just feel like some of you, and I'm getting so froggy, like you have something to say, and the things you're saying are not everybody's going to want to hear, but you're saying it anyway. You're like, let me let this loose. Let me unleash this power. Let me let these things come full circle here, because I am ready. And it's coming up from the heart. It's being set loose. It's this powerful commitment here. It's about strength, but I feel like this integrity too, and the loyalty that we talked about to yourself with that horse energy, being loyal to the new you and how you're stepping out and really committing to that from your heart space and really sharing that. The page is also, it is fresh new energy. So this is very promising coming up in our current selves, because this tells me we're already connected in with this fire horse. Many of us have already connected in. All right, so we're getting that saddle ready. We're brushing the horse, right? And we're going to hop on that when it ignites, right? We're going to be ready to go. This also speaks to activity. Remember, I talked about cardio and warmth and building that up in your body. You know, hula hooping, you know, baton. Did any of you ever do like baton twirling, or like those hippie sticks or crystal sticks? You have those and like spinning those around, spinning things, you know, that kind of stuff. I can't go on things that spin round and round like I used to when I was a kid, because I get like anything with that centrifugal that starts pulling a G force. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to vomit here. But so take it easy. I mean, by all means, don't make yourself dizzy, but can we turn things around? You know, maybe it has to do, I'm also seeing like a pot stirring. Like, it could be a reference to like how you stir the pot. It could be, but you know, you could be feeling like a little more bold, a little like naughty, even in that sense of like, I need to stir the pot here, you know, or I need to kind of tap that hornet's nest. But also there's integrity here, and it really is how are you mixing, you know, your personal energies for the unveiling and the coming forth of the new you from the heart. And so every choice you make needs to support that, and it needs to be less in illusion and fantasy and more in like the real actionable energies that are coming forward with this fire horse season. So a lot of good messages there from our current self, letting us know. I know some of you are still shedding, still working on the boundaries, having a chance to practice those, but it's so important. And with that, we are going to move into the Eight of Cups energy. All right, this is our bridge energy today, shown in the Eight of Cups. Now, for anyone who's joining fresh and new, We're working with the chalice or the cup energy. If you have something like this and you like to kind of do your own little rituals and things, you like to kind of do your own tangible, actions, as we welcome in the year of the fire horse on the 17th. Ladies, hopefully you can join the digital temple and women's circle that I'm holding. We're going to be really getting into those energies. There's a link in the description. Be sure to check that out. Donation based. Pay whatever is comfortable for you. I wanted people to have a comfortable, safe, sacred space. It's for the women, it's for the ladies, but for us to share and really, really identify with these new versions of ourselves and feel empowered to jump on that horse and get rolling. So I really would love to see you in that digital circle. It is going to be via Zoom, and it's going to be a powerful evening. So I hope you can join me there. All right, the Eight of Cups, getting into this Eight of Cups energy. Walking, choosing. You've learned so much. You have balance. Look at all this emotional balancing we have here with the Eight of Cups. You have learned so much. You are ready to cross this bridge. Okay? Karen Savoy. Oh, the Karens are just coming through so powerful. I love it. I'm sorry to hear about your mother. Even though 12 years have passed, grief, February 13th. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's kind of like coming up. It's fresh. Yeah. All right. And this energy too can represent balancing yourself emotionally, even though you've gone through some phases of grief too. So it's very interesting you bring that up as an emotional energy. This is the bridge. We may be grieving also the past versions of ourselves, those past skins that we've shed, like the snake, the wood snake, we've shed the skin. We grieve that though, because we lived with that for so long within ourselves, right? And the Eight of Cups is very much about, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take the new path. I'm ready to walk across this bridge. So we're going to get some more tarot messages here from the Light Seers Tarot, some more guidance as we walk over the bridge, all right? As we walk over this bridge. Now, I do want to mention too, there's a lot of astrological stuff going on in February. So here, as we're doing this, I do try to break it down into tangible and specific ways that you can utilize this in your life in combination with the tarot. So we're taking complex spiritual arts and sciences, and we're breaking them down into messages and communiques and energies that we can actually work with here in our lives in the real world. So this is going to come through in different ways for you, and what I recommend is just noting down, taking note of, jotting down, using a voice note or something, the things that stand out to you the most. So anytime whether it's me or someone else who's giving messages in a reading, you really want to pull out the essence that works for you. All right, because this new you that's connecting in now, we're kind of in this in-between. We're actually taking our steps on the bridge here. That's got to be in honor of what's in your heart. Okay, so just leave what doesn't. What doesn't resonate, let it go, right? Bye, Karen, if you have to take off. Yes, well, I'd love to see you again. All right, Eight of Cups here. First of all, as we move over the bridge, I do think there's going to be a bit of nostalgia. This could be remembering people, as Karen Savoy has just mentioned in the comments, right? You could be remembering your childhood, the younger version of you that may have been fogged in a little bit, that there was a version of you when you were young and undisturbed, right? That knew who you were and knew what you came here to do. And maybe you did have that recognition. I'm seeing a familiar here, like a puppy growing into a dog's, maybe you had a pet that really you resonated with and that you were very close to, a cat, a dog, guinea pig, whatever it is, fish, and that kind of like saw you through some of those formative years. Some of you are carrying that in your heart as like a beautiful memory, with it being the Six of Cups. It's a nostalgia. It can be grief. It can be remembering. Some of you may be having dreams about childhood friends, childhood pets. I know I do have dreams about my pets that have passed sometimes. All right. And so that Six of Cups energy is really, really nostalgic. All right. So as you cross this bridge, you can expect to be feeling a little bit of that and identifying, okay, those are memories I want to carry in my heart with me as I move forward, or those are old versions, those are old situations, those are old circumstances that I'm leaving behind. We did get a major arcana card here for this bridge traveling, okay? And I really, really like the one we got. We got the Chariot. This is beautiful energy because it is movement, all right? And in this particular chariot, these horses are moving, and they're moving in balance. You know, today we do have the moon is in Libra right now. So those of you who carry some Libra energies, take a look at that. This is a really nice time for you to really map your path forward. You don't even have to know what's unfolding as you take each step. I'm kind of noticing that these horses are kind of trotting along almost like a cosmic wave of some kind. There's like little stars in there. Your path will be lit by your own inner guidance, but your job is now to walk across the bridge. All right. If you are not yet moving, the Chariot comes in and says, it's time. It's time. Yes, there's a lot of emotional processing that's happened. Yes, there's a lot from the past coming up, a lot of nostalgia, leaving the old version of you behind, but it is time to move. And this is another reason why I titled the video like this, what you need to know as we come into Mercury and in Pisces and the year of the fire horse and everything that's like happening in this window is because it's time to move. And I'm all about like feminine allowing and resting when needed, okay? But it is definitely time to move into this new version of you. Maybe this new version of you is getting better at resting and being in alignment. That it may be one of your actions. So don't take it as like, I got to do something and panic, you know, in that corporate kind of, I got to have everything done yesterday, rush, 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 rush. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about the movement from what's connected in with your heart. It could be in your artwork. This movement could be you sitting down with your art for an hour, right? This movement could be you going to an exercise class. This movement could be you saying, you know what? My body is giving me signals that I need to rest today. So I'm going to actively rest. I'm going to intentionally rest. But this is movement because this is about the new you coming forward, right? And you're connecting more and more with that future version of you that has what he or she wants, that is doing what he or she wants, that is embodied in the way that he or she wants. Okay? And that is exactly it. Now, the last card to come up here with the Eight of Cups is another eight, is the Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles comes in and reminds us, now it is about work and it is about your own unique work. I love that she has all of this before her, but she's sitting, she's resting, and she's got a green candle. She is taking the time to ground. She is taking the time to center herself back in her heart as she travels along this bridge. All right, so there's going to be activity. There's going to be pause on the bridge. There may be something as you're, and look at the moon phases looking like a bridge. As you're crossing the bridge, there's going to be things that catch your eye. There's going to be moments where you do need to stop and recognize what these things are. This is your journey. You need to trust your inner guidance system. Here's our little Asian hermit guy with the Chinese lantern. There may be something that you come up on that you need to release. You need to release a little bit along the way. And you might need to pause in order to do that so that you can hop back on this chariot and start getting in that fire horse energy, right? This is very much fire horse energy coming up for us. DNA Mindset Matters. Hello. Glad you're here to listen in. The Eight of Pentacles suggests we're going to have to connect. We're going to have to ground as we're traveling across this bridge. I don't think we're going to fly across it, right? We're not going to be skipping steps here. We do have Neptune and Aries, this new cycle going on too, right? Don't forget that started. You may feel like you want to kind of skip over some things, but it's very important. And actually a better result for you. 8 is a number of abundance. It will bring you more abundance in connecting, more success in connecting with your future self if you do take those intentional pauses, is what I'm getting there. So yes, you're on a new journey. You're coming from a very emotionally balanced place and you're ready to move on. Now, do watch out. Remember, I talked about like advertisements and stuff in the emotional manipulation. Watch out for that in the collective on the screens, but also watch for it in people. Because a lot of people operate out of their subconscious and they're like, they emotionally manipulate you without even realize they're doing it, you know? Some people do it and they know they're doing it, and we don't want to be a part of people like that, like those psychopaths and sociopaths, right? We're definitely having boundaries with that, right? We learn that with our current self. We're definitely having boundaries. We're not letting any of that in. But I'm just talking about, it's like the little jabs. I'm getting little jabs for some of you. It's kind of like maybe like one of your parents, if they're still living, like tries to tell you something and it just feels a bit patronizing, a bit condescending, or someone speaks to you in a way that's like that. Watch out for that kind of energy and, you know, make note of it. I think you're going to catch it. I do think you're going to catch it. It's going to have that vibe. It's going to feel like a barb a little bit. So the more you're honoring yourself, you're moving, but you're also pausing along the bridge when necessary. You're acknowledging where you come from and where you're going. It's like both are being acknowledged all together. That's going to give you the best results. So using kind of those Libra energies to keep yourself in balance for those of you who have that. And I actually think I have Uranus in Libra. So it's really important for me to learn how to balance those chaotic energies. Some little things you can do are just like clean your refrigerator, organize your junk drawer, right? These little practical pentacle things that we can do to kind of help ourselves. So there may be this time you're coming across and you notice something and you're just like, I need to organize that, or I need to get rid of that. Like that item needs to be, or those pieces of clothing article, you know, those need to go out. Those, I'm done with those. Let somebody else have that be a part of their journey, right? Karen Keener says, looks like an indication of a month period with those moons. Yes. Now, ladies too, cycles, your menstrual cycles. Because I have been bleeding with the full moon lately. Okay, so I just ended mine, and this would indicate cycles are important for you. Your moon cycles, your bleeds, you can make the most of those as well. You know, I know guys are probably like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Whatever, it's fine. Like I'm seeing like cup energy, like, you know how they have those cups? I don't use those catch cup things because I personally like to free bleed as much as possible, but I'm kind of seeing that. Like you can really have a potent connection with that. So it's interesting you brought that up, Karen. Whether you need to rest or whether like you have some sort of inspiration hit you during that time. It's a very powerful time. Like women's menstrual cycles are meant to be both restful and a time of ecstaticness, you know? So if you have people in your life that can support that, like I've had to kind of teach Jason, like, this is what's happening. Like, I'm releasing for the entire family during this time. The women in your life are releasing for you and for everyone, okay? So they need rest, they need foot massages, they need extra water, they need the things, okay? So whether that's happening for you yourself and it's about your self-care, ladies, or you have partners that you have to kind of, you have to kind of train sometimes others to really understand what that's about. I mean, it's taken me my whole life to figure out the depth and the power of my own cycle. And women have very powerful cycles. And, what do you need to do to honor yourself in those cycles, right? That is important. And I will say, that is why my work is kind of focused on women for this upcoming new moon and solar eclipse, because I am a woman, and these powerful cycles we go through when we come together in a community, no matter what phase we're in, those relational energies of creator women can be amplified. So that's really what we're going to be looking to do. All right. So thank you for bringing that up. And I don't know if that's exactly where you were going with it, but I'm very aware because I'm in the final phases of having a cycle, right? With the perimenopause. So I'm trying to make the most of every experience I have with that beautiful cycle that is mine and mine alone. And sometimes I'm headachy, and sometimes I'm moody, and sometimes I'm emotional, and sometimes I'm down and out. And sometimes right beforehand, I feel wired, and whatever it is, just being with that energy and recognizing it as the powerful energy that it is. All right, let's get into our future self with the Nine of Cups. This card is a card of feeling proud of yourself, feeling fulfilled with something. So this is the kind of energy we really want to try to be in when we hop on that fire horse. It's about like soul level satisfaction. You're pleased with yourself. And I do like how the arms are crossed here because there's boundaries being maintained. You're protecting this new version of you and you're protecting the heart here. You're protecting also the solar area that supports the heart, right? If you do work with the chakra energy, we've got the bright yellow in the card here. That's that solar plexus. That's your confidence, your self-esteem, okay? And where you're at with that. So this is what we're connecting to in the fire horse season. This is a progression through emotional energies, through cups energies, through cycles, through the water energies. Remember, the bridge is probably going over, possibly. You can really imagine it over a body of water, perhaps. Maybe your bridge is cosmic. That's fine too. Whatever you need your bridge to be, your bridge will be. And maybe it will change. But as we work with the elements, they can be extremely helpful. And when you're coming into like a fire horse year, it can be very helpful to also work on mastering the water element as well, the opposite element. All right, what might be considered the opposite element can really be helpful to you as you move through. Ooh, here we go, future selves. Here we go. I love it. Okay. This is looking good. So remember, we're in the Nine of Cups energy now. We're learning about our soul satisfaction, our fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is the minor arcana card that kind of goes along with the major arcana card of the star, which is represented and connected to Aquarius energy, which is what we are moving through right now. And I really like what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing that the future self, our future selves that we're getting closer and closer to, we're forming the relationship, we're weaving the wisdom. We got the Page of Swords. So isn't it interesting how we had the Page of Wands with the current self, but the Page of Swords comes in. This is the future self beginning to have these new ideas, these innovations. Something that's being learned is lighting you up. The page is about learning. It's about gaining something new. Some of you may want to step into something new, like take a new class that has been coming up lately. This is probably, being a tightrope here, going to take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, cause you to have to focus in different ways. She's doing a lot here. You do have to be careful of this energy with your future self, especially if you've been working to balance your life, because you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. The Page of Swords sometimes can do that. So that would be the one caution that I have, is that stay focused, check your surroundings, have that situational awareness, because you are guarding your own soul's progress and satisfaction here. And the Page of Swords, though, it's like new thoughts, new ways of thinking. Some of you are going to feel, I think, more clear in the mind, or like the mind opens up finally so you can learn something else. That could also be a representation that some of the distraction energies are gone, have fallen away, or you're just able to be more aware of multiple things at once. I hesitate sometimes to suggest multitasking to people, or getting your thoughts too wrapped up in too many things, being like that overthinking kind of mind. But this is seeming to me more like you're opening up to a new capacity, a new mental capacity, which is cool, because I think with that comes new communications, new ideas, new learnings. And if you're really committed to that heart, it's going to be the things that you can bring in that will integrate into the heart through which you're taking action, which is going to have a positive effect on the effects field and on the future that we're creating now, right? So it's beautiful energy. We got the Fool, another major arcana card coming up here. This just feels like letting go and re-entering the cosmic pool. I always say the Fool card represents like a 0 point energy, and it honestly represents the point where your soul was birthed into this reality. And the Fool kind of sometimes gets that bad rap for being a bit of a, kind of head in the clouds, not really paying attention, maybe a bit aloof. And so maybe a bit like impulsive. But I don't get as much those energies from this particular card with the other cards that are around it. I get this as more like, I'm ready. I am ready to take the plunge into a new cosmic pool, into my future self, into bringing it all together at the 0 point. I think with Neptune moving into Aries, I think Saturn's getting ready. Some other planet, I'm learning about this and we'll be talking about it, is getting ready to show up here in the 0 degrees of Aries. So Aries, it's a big time. It's a big time for Aries, but that Aries is about newness. It's about first. It's about initiations. And this to me speaks to, she's got this large amethyst crystal, which represents clear thoughts and being connected with her innovation. She's got a yellow dress on, yellow, color yellow, solar plexus, confidence, self-esteem is coming through. All she has to do is release. No, actually, she's in motion. She's got a wand. I thought that was a rope. It's a wand. She's got the fire wand already, and she's taking that plunge into the new. All right, so this is beautiful energy to confirm this is where we're headed. It's a whole new glorious cosmic pool that we're moving into here with these energies. This is how we bring the best forward. So I'd like to know, if you're still around and you're looking at this Fool card, what are you plunging into? Like, is there a vibe? Is there an energy? Is there a word that comes to mind? A term or just something that your heart is set on. What awaits when you hit this new cosmic pool? Because that's kind of what I want to call it, a cosmic pool. Feels really good. It feels like the best, cleanest spring water you've ever felt at, just the right temperature. But what are you plunging into? Remember, you're taking your passion with the fire wand. You're taking the wisdom and the intellect with the amethyst crystal. So you've got the thoughts and the passion coming along with you. What are you plunging into? What are you plunging into? If you feel called, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Whether you're live comments or on the replay, I would love to hear about what you are plunging into. Remember, this is about something that brings your soul satisfaction. We're drawing closer to the versions of ourselves that have evolved. And we've been doing a lot of evolving, but this is yet another evolved version of us, and it brings great satisfaction. We've been doing the work. We deserve the satisfaction. It's time for us to feel this. So as we take this nesty plunge, as we just let ourselves fall into this new cosmic pool, let me know what the vibe is for you. Now, what's beautiful here is as we go through this process, so we have the ideas, the intellect, we're feeling innovative, we're feeling more clear, we're feeling brave, we're taking the plunge, and we're trusting ourselves in these new energies. We got the Knight of Pentacles. I love this because this is what we're setting up for the long term, all right? Oh, and I just heard breadcrumbs, and it made me want to cough. No more breadcrumbs, y'all. There's no longer any settling for breadcrumbs. All right. We are setting forth on a path. And what we're leaving behind us is actual pentacles, actual totems, signpost. All right. What we're doing not only prepares us and lays down the road for ourselves for the long term, but for others to be able to find their way as well. Here's our fire horse. We're off the fire horse right now, right? So yes, the fire horse is coming. It's going to be active. It's going to be moving. But there's also this strong message from the Knight of Pentacles that says what you are doing, you are setting up for the long term. So even though these actions are going to come really fast, most of the time you'll be galloping on this horse. Remember what's happening all along the way. You're multidimensional. So while the fire horse year is moving, there's a part of you that you and your horse are chilling and really laying down the groundwork, laying down the foundation. And you're letting yourself know and you're letting others know where the path is going. And it shows a beneficial strategy for the long term. All right, what you're laying down here. It's beautiful colors. It almost, I'm kind of getting a sense of like an arrow here, like a directional energy here, carrying you through. You're aware. He's aware. He knows where the path is, but he's looking around. The horse is looking. The horse is his familiar. The horse is his energy of trust and loyalty to the self, to your path, dedication, and strategy on your path, dedication to your strategy. That feels good because remember Capricorn season, December, January, we were working so hard, like in that time. We were really working so hard on a soul level to get all these foundational energies in place. And now we're able to move with them. I really like this depiction for these energies because it tells me that as we get closer and closer to our future selves, right? And we're constantly in motion with this relationship, right? We're getting closer, but it's also with us already. This is setting a beautiful foundation for the long term. Ancestral healing could be implied here for some of you. Family healing. New directions for your family, for your ancestry. What's going to carry forward is a new direction than what was going on in the past, which is lovely. For those of you, whenever you're working on ancestral clearing, mother and father issues, generational type stuff, man, it feels good to take a new direction because you've been bombarded, you're the one who's aware of it. You've been bombarded with the responsibility of healing that for your entire family line, right? And you're setting a new path now, which is beautiful. New directions for family and ancestry, I think is absolutely incredible. All right. So we can get deep into that too. And that's exciting energy. So do keep in mind, I want to mention once more before we close out that I do have that donation-based webinar coming up on the 17th it's a solar eclipse and a new moon in Aquarius. It's going to be in the evening, Central Standard Time, 7:11 p.m. A replay will be available. And everyone who signs up will have a chance, whether they can attend live or will watch the replay, to get a personal mini reading from me as well. I will be doing them at the end of the live for people who can stay on. But if you're unable to join because you're in Europe or something like that, like your time zone is just different, you can, I'll be reaching out to you. You can send me the question in advance and I will answer it there for the evening. Okay. Spaces are going to be limited. It's donation based, so very flexible. Pay what you can to join, and so you can be comfortable and safe. We want a comfortable, safe space for our women to congregate together. Check that out. Link is in the description as well. I hope to see some of you. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but I hope to see some of you on Sunday night. I'm going to go anyway because I'm really not into all that. And it's going to be 7 to 8 p.m. Central for the live Q&A this Sunday, the 8th, and then again on the 22nd. And then, of course, the digital temple on the 17th for those ladies who are able to join. It's been a little bit shorter Frequency Friday today, but I got some activities to do with my kids. I so appreciate all of you showing up. I hope you have the most amazing weekend possible, and I'll see you again Sunday night, Tuesday. Other things always popping up here on the channel. Do take care, stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating.